of the great rabbis of yesteryear. Now, friends, the Hebrew date is Tet Zayin Cheshvan. The 16th of Cheshvan marks the Hilula of a great Italian rabbi. His name was Harav Avraham Ishmael Chai Sanguiniti. Zecher Tzadik Libracha, one of the great rabbis of Italy, especially during the 1700s in of itself, will become a great Kabbalist and will eventually move at a youngish age to the land of Israel and become actually one of the famous students of the famous Rabbi Chaim ibn Atar, who we've spoken about on various occasions, also known as Ora Chaim HaKadosh. And let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he was born, I believe, I think it was in the year 1725-ish or something, at around that period of time, towards earlier parts of the 1700s. He actually came from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Shlomo Chaim. I think the precise year was 1726, if I'm not mistaken. And he was born in an area called Modena in Italy. And this specific area of Modena we've spoken about on various different occasions before. I think it's in the central part of, if I'm not mistaken, towards Rome in Italy of itself. And that had a great Jewish Torah community, especially, I think, at that point in time. He would eventually move to the land of Israel. I think he was only about just after Bar Mitzvah, about 14, 15 years of age when he would move to the land of Israel with a group of students of the Ora Chaim, the famous Ora Chaim HaKadosh. Really, really great Torah learners in of itself. And they went to learn in the famous yeshiva, the Yeshivat Knesset Yisrael, one of the great yeshivas. I think it was actually opened in that specific Kufa, in that period of time, in the year 1741. And obviously that was a popular yeshiva of Rabbi Chaim ibn Atar in Jerusalem in of itself, and become and house many, many great rabbis, future rabbis, and the talmidim, talmidei chachamim of the highest caliber throughout its period in of itself. So he was actually founded by the Ora Chaim HaKadosh, and he would actually, very interesting enough, I think he would travel with many, many great talmidim at that stage in time to come to this great country of Israel. And it's actually the chronicles of this trip in of itself, I think, was recorded in 3 letters that Rabbi Avraham Ishmael actually wrote to his father, and it was, I believe, published in the Tarvitz collection, if I'm not mistaken, a specific general scientific journal, let's just say, of Jewish studies, was published in Hebrew, if I'm not mistaken, at one stage in time later on, which is very interesting. I would recommend everyone to research within regards to that. Unfortunately, in the land of Israel, there were some epidemics that actually took place, as they call it, Magefa, in Israel. I think this actually happened in the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Kuf Aleph. And because of that, I think the yeshiva had to move from Jerusalem, and I think it would be based afterwards in Akko and also in Tzfat, respectively, 2 different areas. Tzfat also being one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, along with Jerusalem, which you just mentioned, and Tiberias and Hebron, respectively. And it's interesting, he actually met the famous Rabbi, the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Rosato at that time, and he was himself had been one of the famous great authors from Italy, one of the great rabbis from Italy, which we have mentioned actually in a previous video. And then, I believe, in the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Kuf Bet, the yeshiva was able to move back to Jerusalem, maybe possibly because I would imagine the plague had finished of itself, or any of maybe the time period's toughness of that point in time, or being there, they were able to actually come back. And actually, I think they learned that. I think there was a passing of the Ora Chaim HaKadosh, I think in the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Kuf Gimel. And after the Ora Chaim had passed away, he actually traveled to Livorno. Livorno at that point in time was, let's say, a capital Jewish publishing house, I believe, at that point in time. And then afterwards, after a period in Livorno, which had a great Jewish community at that point in time, he returned to the land of Israel and started learning, I believe, in the Hebrew year, Hey Taf Kuf Dalet, that would naturally be around 1743, in the yeshiva of Rabbi Shalom Sharabi. I think it was this yeshiva, this institution of itself, was called the Midrash HaChasidim, really, really great place in of itself. And he was very, very close to Rabbi Shalom Sharabi. Remember, the Rabbi Shalom Sharabi's name is also called the Rashash HaKadosh. You know, not many great rabbis have the name Kadosh into their name inside. Let's just say their nickname, just like the Ora Chaim HaKadosh was Rashash HaKadosh. And he was very, very close, I believe, to the great rabbi in of itself. unfortunately, it was tough at those stages in time. There was a lot of poverty all over the world at that stage in time, and he would go, I think, to Italy to cover, various finances with regards to Torah learning, possibly publishing, if I'm not mistaken. I think he would actually travel to Italy, if I'm not mistaken. I think towards the end of his life, I think in the year Hey Taf Kuf Lamed Hey, and he was actually appointed as one, let's say, the Chavurot HaMekubalim of Ahavat Shalom in of itself, and I think he had close connection with the famous Chida, also Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azilai, another great rabbi we've mentioned about before, the famous, popularly known as the Chida, one of the great Moroccan rabbis in Jewish history. He passed away, Rachacham Yishma'el did, I believe in the English year, if I'm not mistaken, it was 1778, 1779, around that point in time. Rabbi Avraham Yishmael Chai Sanguiniti, really, really great rabbi from Italy. Naturally, that was on Tet Zayin Cheshvan, the 16th of Cheshvan. Now, he left great descendants, let's just say, in himself. I believe his son-in-law actually was Rabbi Avraham Azulay, who was one of the great rabbis of Jerusalem in of itself. And his son was the Chida, the famous Chida. So there was a connection with in regards to the Chida and the great Rabbi Ishmael over here, where someone of the greatest, highest caliber of the Chida could actually look up to one of the great rabbis from Italy over here. So Tet Zayin Cheshvan is a hulul of the great rabbi. Please don't forget to light candles in his memory. And friends, we are a community here. We're learning about the wisdom of the great rabbis of yesteryear. And please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos. If you happen to be related to any of these great rabbis over here, please send me a comment. I'd love to hear more about these great rabbis. It's such an honor just to even learn about them, let alone to just speak about them with you fantastic people over here. And the great Kabbalists, he only passed away, he was only about 52 years of age at the time of passing. I believe that's the same amount of years as King Solomon actually lived of himself. And wishing you all blessings from Israel. I'm recording this just before Shabbat Parashat Vayera, so I'm wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom in advance, and take care, and everyone be well.